All right, so for this first photo, I'm actually going to be tackling the two-page spread. So I want to take a look at the specifications. A two-page spread needs to be 17 by 11 and needs to have this 0.125 inch bleed and a half-inch margin. We need to have some area that we can have a consistent color, so we can put some more text. Could be a lead, could be a subtitle. We also need some area across the top potentially, so that we can have a title. We also want to be sure that this photo was shot in landscape, and we're going to be sure to save it as a TIFF color mode CMYK in a resolution of 300. So for this example, I think I'm going to grab this photo right here. So I'm going to open it, and this one's actually going to be .cr2, which is in RAW, and we always want you to shoot in RAW on these photos. So I'm going to open this up in Photoshop, and since it is a RAW photo, it's going to open up what we used to call Bridge, but it's changed a little bit. And so in this, we're able to make some subtle changes, and I've already kind of changed some of it. So this is the histogram up top in the top right corner. And so I can hover over different sections. This middle section right here is exposure. And so I can click and drag this to the right or to the left and mess with that exposure. Obviously the exposure will brighten things up. Now shadows, so I've moved my cursor over. I can click and drag shadows, so I can kind of change the shadows, decrease, increase them. And then I can also take a look at the highlights. So notice as I move the highlights, the sky kind of becomes too whitewashed, or as we decrease the highlights, we can see more details in the clouds. We also have whites that'll show us our whites. See, whenever we get to too far to the right, we have all this red occur. This is just letting us know that that's a blown out section. It's too white. So we want to move that white section just enough to where we don't see any of that red popping up, or to where we just barely see it. So if that was the whites on the right side, if we go all the way to the left side, we can manipulate the blacks. And so I want to be sure that we have some rich black color in there, but not too much. We come down here, we can adjust the temperature a little bit, make it more warm, or make it more blue. So when you're done with that, don't click done, because we actually want to open this in Photoshop. So hit open. All right, so if you remember, the first thing that we need to do is we need to resize this thing. And I'm going to go back one more time and double check. Yep, it was 11, or it's 17 by 11 and a 0.125 inch bleed all the way around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop this image. So I'm going to come over here to the crop tool, or it's keyboard shortcut C. And then up here, I have all these options, original ratio, 1:1, 4:5, but I'm actually going to specify the exact width, the exact height, and the exact resolution. And so in the boxes next to it, we know what it needs to be, right? It needs to be 17.125 inches. And it needs to be 11.125 inches. And it needs to be 300 pixels per inch. And there we go. We're ready to get this photo the way we want it. It is a little maybe not lined up just the way I want it, so I'm going to kind of rotate it just a little bit and see if that looks a little bit better. I'm going to hit this check mark. Yeah, that looks a little bit more even, so that's fantastic. At this point, you can do some manipulations if you want to. I think I have a good area to put maybe a title across the top. I have some consistent areas down here or even up here that I could add some text. So I feel good about this photo. At this point, I'm going to go to image, and I'm going to double check the image size. Yep, 17 by 11, and it bumped up, so that's fine. We did allow for the bleed resolution of 300. Now remember, if you're going to resize this, be sure you deselect the resample, because if we have this selected and we change the resolution or the height, it's going to pixelate the image. You may not notice that it does it, but it will. So always don't want to. We want to be sure that resample is deselected. So we're good on the size. Next thing, I'm going to go back to image and go to image mode. At this point, we're going to see that it's either grayscale, RGB, or CMYK. Remember that this needs to be CMYK. It's going to let us know it's going to get rid of some information. When we do this, that's fine. We're going to convert it to CMYK. So I'm going to double check, make sure that I've gotten everything that I need to. So as I'm reading through here, it looks like I'm good at the last thing that I need to do is to save this photo as a TIFF. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Save As. I'm going to save this somewhere that it makes sense to me, and I'm going to change it to a TIFF. Now, for the naming of this, I'm going to do my last name underscore 2-page spread. That way I know that that when you submit your photo, that I know that this is your 2-page spread. Hit save and hit OK. So if you noticed, some photos take a long time to save, but this one looks like it saved pretty quick. So at that point, I'm ready to upload this to OneDrive. I'm going to open up OneDrive. So this is actually the folder. So the brand 21, my last name, and in here I already have the story, but now I need to upload that first image. So here it is, Tarpley 2-page spread. I'm going to hit open. And we can see up here that it is uploading right now. And there we go. So it is uploaded, and this is ready for me and the editorial board to take a look at. If you have any questions or problems, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help. Thanks.